Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 346. We're here. Thanksgiving week, we're still here. We're here every week. We don't miss. Although MVG's not here, so you can go yell at him on Twitter. He'll be back next week. He just got in literally like last night, and he didn't want to face Sean after another rare game went to NSL.
Poor baby. he was on a holiday vacation, and it was just so stressful.
He posted like a 30-pound turkey or something that he's cooking too. It was just tough times over there.
Fucking bitch.
It's like a day. Jesus.
He knew what was coming. The fact that a rare game went to NSO, he didn't want any part of that. But we still have a bunch of people here, a lot of stuff to go over, which some smaller topics. It's a holiday week, so it wasn't as busy, but I still have some interesting stuff here to discuss. Some AI stuff with Microsoft in the mix. I did want to revisit this Xbox tax. I couldn't believe how much this blew up online, and I'll approach it in a more serious manner this time. All right, how about that? I'll give it the college try. I did have a chance to play the Steam Deck OLED actually quite a bit. I will discuss very briefly some of my early thoughts on that. And we have Sony facing lawsuits. We got them partnering with the Stellar Blade Studio, and Knights of the Republic either exists or it doesn't. But we'll discuss that too. Let me go here though. Let's start with Sean. RGT is with us.
Hello. Sorry, I'm not on camera or in the chat right now. I am working on a thumbnail once I'm done. Well, no, because then I have to watch the video back and make sure Brett didn't fuck anything up. I'll be on camera at some point and in the chat at some point. I promise.
Isn't that his job?
Yeah, but he has a large task for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you put that on. You said on Twitter what this was. This sounded serious.
Yeah, it's legit.
Like a 50-minute video, isn't it?
I rank every pro wrestling game ever.
Ooh,
every game ever? Fire Pro's in there too?
Yeah,
big video.
Of course does.
Cabinet only ones and stuff like that.
I don't know, because I keep thinking of that fucking dude who would always come in to this chat and the other chat and be like, so you gonna make that tier list? Yeah, I'll do it at some point. And I figured like he would give up eventually, but he never gave up. So I was just like, fuck, I gotta do it eventually.
We also have Josie. Josie's with us here. She
Yes.
she made the trek back home for Thanksgiving, but she's still here with us.
Yeah. Excited to talk about all this stuff. The Xbox tax. That's crazy.
Out there, there you go. And OJ's with us, holding up the pre-show. Over there.
Great pre-show. Had a lot of people there. Thanks for everybody that came out and wished me well. I'm feeling a lot better. For those who don't know, I got one of my wisdom.
Which one did you get pulled?
This bottom.
Only one.
I had my back top one pulled last.
Yeah, bottom back
earlier
and
this year,
top
last
back
yesterday
here.
or something.
Yeah.
It hasn't evolved much, right? They just they hit you with a needle and then they rip it out with
They
like a
just get in there with
pliers or
that
something.
wrench, and they're just like, "Here we
It's
go."
very weird.
Although the guy used a saw on mine, like a dental saw, because he couldn't get a good grip. So he sawed it for a bit, and then he just pulled.
Yeah,
that
mine
out.
had like come all the way through and like hit my bottom tooth, so I had to get like a root canal on that bottom one. But it was out far enough to where I thought there was a whole procedure. There's a sit here, needle, and then they got pliers and just went back that way.
Yeah,
and it was out.
They just go. I was
like, oh, that was it. It took from like time that they grabbed to it being out was like 15 seconds, and I was like, and I just asked if I could keep it. And I was like,
yours was quicker than mine because because he had a little bit of trouble pulling it, so that's why I used this saw. But no, I mean it's okay. Like for those, a lot of people told me like, hey, when you get like it hurts, and yeah, it's just uncomfortable. Like the injection shots are like very uncomfortable afterwards. But I mean, it's about 3-4 days you start feeling better. So I'm okay now. But it was hurting like hell. Like it was during Thanksgiving, I couldn't even really eat like that.
Oh man,
I tried and it hurt, but I was like, hey, I'm not missing it, so I still ate. But yeah, you're supposed to only eat soft foods, but I was like, screw it.
It's not a fun experience.
No, it's not a fun experience. Not a fun experience. But we out here, and I'm feeling better today. So thanks for having me on.
Good. We got Evan. Evan's here, of course.
Yep.
Good to see Evan here. So let me go over. I do want to go over the Spawncast network. Some of the executive producers here. Got Achievement. Got John O. Joshua Butts. Mr.
Buttsman.
Job, yeah, Ms. Buttsman, William Hogue, and I do also want to give a shout out to one of the producers here. That's Trent A. And the sponsor for the month, The Game Orb, have their channel linked down below. Make sure you check them out where they do convention tours, gameplay, and they've been posting actually quite a bit over the last couple of days. They're also over on Twitch, streaming. Seems like every other day, different games. So make sure you check out The Game Orb. They're linked down below, and we also have Factor sponsoring, but we'll talk about them a little later on in the show. So I did want to mention this because we were just talking about Thanksgiving, but we had Black Friday, of course, the day after Thanksgiving, although it felt like it was all week. And I noticed something as I'm looking around as this is going on. It kind of feels like Black Friday has just kind of lost its
dead.
Its interest, its luster, its magic. I don't know. It used to be a big deal back in the day where people were like fighting over these deals. And there's some funny videos of people going around pulling the price tags out and realizing that all that like Target and stuff did was just change it from holiday to Black Friday, but the prices and savings were all the same still.
Well, the thing of it is that, now everyone's doing like Black Friday. Black Friday used to be like a dedicated day, and that's when the sales started. But I mean, with this year, you saw it, all the sales started like on Sunday, and there was a few doorbusters here and there, but like, the economy sucks ass right now. People ain't trying to spend money to begin with. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely lost its luster, and online has taken a big jump in the retail sphere. It gets bigger and bigger all the time. So
yeah, I feel like people used to camp out and all kinds of stuff for Black Friday. Now people will just like I went by Walmart because I was getting some food during the afternoon, so I assumed way after anyone would have been there for Black Friday stuff. And I walked over, looked at the electronics section. There's like the saddest little paper or cardboard kiosk with like Sonic Frontiers and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or something just in there with the green stickers, and it was just sad. No one really cared about it. So it's not like how it used to be where back then you'd come in and they had like a line, and they had to like work you through, and you're like, get your games here, and like Mario was $10 or something, and now it's, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like people care as much. So they just run the deals all year, and that's kind of it.
Also, there's like Cyber Monday, so I think that kind of takes over.
I think it's online. Just online is just taking most of the, like, why go there and get trampled? Like when you can just, Well,
and plus, I mean, there's certain sectors, and I think video games, unless we're talking about GameStop, is kind of a perfect example of that. But like, it used to be like, that's when all the stock was in and stuff like that. But a lot of these brick and mortar stores, I mean, they're diminishing their video game sections, they're diminishing their toy sections. So you're getting better variety online than you are by actually going into the store, because, with the online, you don't have to worry about the whole storefront portion of it. So I feel like you get a better variety of stuff online nowadays compared to what it used to be, where I mean, there was online Black Friday stuff, but it was more of an afterthought, like, for sure. It wasn't the focal point, but now like the focal point has shifted. So there's like less than, I saw one video, they were doing a I forget, it was Van Buren. Van Buren went outside and was interviewing people on Black Friday, and there was a nice line at his mall, and I was like, the fuck are these motherfuckers doing at 5 a.m. there? But the mall was doing like a $500 like gift card raffle or something, like if you came at like 5 a.m. or something like that. So that was a way to get people in. But I mean, stores are closing, stores are shrinking their inventory. Hey,
I missed like they used to make like not just bundles, but even full systems just during like the Black Friday time. Remember we had that Mario new 3DS system, and it was $100, and it came with New Super Mario Bros. U, and it was the special like 3DS.
Dude, they had a million of those bundles. Like it was awesome. Those were cool. Now look how much they're worth. Yeah, the Mario Kart one. There was a Metroid one. There was a Zelda one. Like they came out with variants all the time for that thing.
Yeah, I just like we had that one year with the PS4 where you got Spider-Man with it, a $50 gift card at GameStop, and it was $150 for the whole thing. Man, those are the good days. Now it's just the same price. That's like it.
Dead.
Yeah.
Dead, I tell you, dead.
Those are the good days. And someone asked in the chat about Mario for $10. We had a few times where we had Nintendo Selects that started at $20, and Walmart would take $5 to $10 off of those during Black Friday. And there were like a couple, I think like New Super Mario Bros. Or something was in there at one point. We had some pretty good ones in there. But like those were the crazy days. We'd walk in and it was like $10 a game, and you just stack them. No more. Can't even get like Sonic Frontiers was $35 at Walmart. It's like, what? This is like $25 2 months ago. We're going the wrong way here.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, look at this deal. But it got like more people are buying it, but I'm like, it's okay deal, I guess. But
yeah, it's fine.
Did anyone buy anything or go out shopping?
Yeah, I got a big stack of games right here that I bought.
Okay. Let's see what we got.
All right, so this is just the Naruto game that I was supposed to get. My neighbor had it, so
Naruto Baruto.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got Fire Emblem Warriors for $15. That's a deal.
Yeah, that's
Three Hopes. Yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah. I got shout outs to Max. My copy of RoboCop came in.
Look
at that. There it is. Okay,
Let's
good
go.
stuff.
So I'll be playing that soon. I got Double Dragon, which was kind of an earlier Black Friday deal, but yeah. Double Dragon on Switch. I got Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. That was $20. That was not bad. You get all the content. It's all complete on cartridge.
That was Amazon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Amazon for that one. I got.
Did you use my affiliate link?
No, I did not. I didn't know you had an affiliate link.
Tweet about it, damn it.
Oh, my bad. I didn't see that. They suppressed some tweets that have links, right? So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, Star Ocean. So I bought the Switch version of Star Ocean. I already have the PlayStation version. And for some reason, Atlas got me to buy Persona 5 Royal again. I got the PS5 version of it. Yeah, and then I also got Control as well. So
Control's
those are all my Black Friday pickups.
I bought 3DS games.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to get some 3DS games.
They keep coming back in stock, and they mark them down for, I think they're just doing it all weekend for like Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff. Yeah. And they were all sealed. They're fine. I also bought a PS1 game. I bought Final Fantasy 9 just to see how that'd come out. And I bought the Jack collection on the PS3, all brand new.
The deals are so bad. You're buying you're buying games that aren't even relevant like this.
Yeah, I know. It's but hey, the 3DS games are hard to find now. But
yes, that's true.
It's that and like I got more storage. So I got like SD cards and stuff. I do that every year though. I get SD cards.
I bought 2 1 terabyte SD cards as well.
Yep, that's kind of it. I bought some stuff on Steam for my Steam Deck as well, but that's just like the autumn sale that kind of worked into Black Friday, I guess. That's kind of it. I don't know. Did you get anything, Sean?
No games or anything.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No games.
There was nothing I really required or wanted or needed.
Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah, I'll wait a little bit. I'm not in a rush to play it. It's a massive game. I just got Spider-Man. Well, I did buy Spider-Man 2 during Black Friday, but I mean that's not really a part of. It wasn't on sale or anything. I just bought it because I hadn't purchased it yet.
Okay,
I'm gonna start that tomorrow.
About Josie, did you get anything?
I got Fire Emblem 3 Hopes.
That's good.
Like OJ did because it was $15, and then I got a pink PS5 controller because I only have one controller, so now I have 2, which is cool.
Okay, good stuff.
That's about it. Probably get some storage on Cyber Monday though.
Yeah. Yep. Just get like a nice NVMe drive, drop it in there, be good. Some of the 2 terabytes are like $80 now, so 1 terabyte's probably even cheaper. 1 terabyte's probably like $50 some odd dollars.
I was looking at a terabyte, and then the 2 terabytes was $5 more, and I was like, why would I just not do that? So
yeah, just get the 2 terabyte, you'd be good to go. Yeah. About Evan over there, you get anything?
Not much yet. I've just been paying attention to the Steam sales. Picked up Satisfactory. Had to give in to whatever autism makes me like those types of games. So
okay. Yeah, the Steam sale is pretty good. There's a lot of stuff.
That was like 45% off. It's nice.
Okay, good stuff. But that was our Black Friday recap. It's just not the same. Not the same. I need people like fighting in the stores over the last like Tickle Me Elmo or something. Like it needs to be serious.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah. I did mention the Steam Deck. I had the Steam Deck OLED here. I've played it throughout the week. trying different games, but I think the thing that I like the most is probably just the screen, and it's not even necessarily because OLED. The OLED is nice, I will say that, but the form factor for the Steam Deck, it's still all the same. The size, the feeling of it, everything there is right, but the screen at 90 hertz versus 60 is actually a pretty big difference. I was a little surprised on that one because I'm seeing more and more games become Steam Deck verified, and they're Steam Deck verified in a way that they will push above 60 frames. So like I had posted Tony Hawk. I was playing Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 Remake hits 90 frames per second on the Steam Deck, so it actually takes advantage of that screen, and that is a game because it is obviously a more horror-centric game. It takes advantage of the like darker pixels and kind of set up for that. But I think that's my biggest takeaway is I like the fact that they refined it to where it is now, to where the battery life is manageable. So I played Resident Evil 2 and it was about 3 hours of battery life before I was like, oh, I should probably charge or plug this thing in. And that was playing around with the brightness settings and kind of throttling it a bit to make sure it'll last that long. But it's not the hour and a half it used to be, or that I remember. So it is to the point where it's I think a pretty good recommendation. The only difference and the only thing that gives me some pause, Sean, over that ROG Ally is Windows right out of the box, because it has access to things like emulation, yes, but it has access to Game Pass, and that is a pretty legit library if you already signed up to that right out of the box. So
it's cool, but I don't need it. Like that screen isn't good enough for me to be like, oh, I need to buy one now again, because
yeah, I understand that. It's also quieter, so because they went to a smaller fabrication, it doesn't blast the fan constantly anymore. Even when I'm playing something like Resident Evil 2 for an hour, it's not as audible as the original Steam Deck would get. It would go like turbo mode sometimes. Not the case for this, and it doesn't get as warm to the touch either. So I like the refinements they did to it, and it gives me hope for their next system, that they're kind of learning about things outside of just let's make the most powerful handheld PC we can. I think there's a lot to be said about the stuff that goes around just the chip itself, and how the system, I guess, just feels to use, the convenience factor of a longer battery, those sorts of things. So I like what I'm seeing with the OLED, though. I still have more time I got to put with it, especially with some of these other games. Like I want to try Red Dead Redemption 2 on it, but it's like 120 gigs, so I left that downloading today.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's a big game. If you install it on your Xbox, your PS5 or whatever, it was 2 discs out of the gate with the physical copy even.
Right.
Let me should we pick up this Nintendo Switch Online stuff now, since MVG, I wasn't sure if MVG would be popping in at the end. I'm thinking he's not. I'm gonna assume he's not, and I'm gonna say that
probably asleep under a warm blanket. I had to travel and relax on vacation.
I'm telling you, he knows, because Sean was making the argument that more rare games could be coming to NSO. And it looks like Nintendo decided to surprise everyone with Jet Force Gemini in December.
I was not surprised. I knew it would happen.
Okay, you weren't surprised. I was surprised.
It made sense.
I was expecting 1080 next. I thought they were just give us that to finish up the year, and then maybe something like this could happen next year and surprise everyone.
I maybe had some trouble with 1080. The game hasn't aged all that great, I don't feel.
It's still supposed to come out I assume that's coming out like around Christmas time, sort of. It makes sense, I guess, for the theming.
Or are you sure about that? Because this game comes out in December.
Yeah, but wasn't 1080 supposed to be part of the 2023 roadmap?
Things change, John. Roadmaps change.
Apparently.
That's why you make a roadmap. Then you got to take a detour. There's traffic.
It's a Nintendo
jam.
64 ROM.
Hey, they gotta do a little pizzazz on it. But no, I was ridiculed by MVG. Where the rare games? Where the rare games? There they are, right there, Buster. And now this opens the floodgates. Now,
oh boy.
No, now we should expect Diddy Kong Racing, right?
Well, this also opens up the idea that in Japan they have an 18 plus app because
Yes.
these two titles, GoldenEye, by the way, now going to Japan as well, are rated Sero Z, which means that they had to make this app unless they wanted to rate everything as 18 plus, basically, with Mario and all of their different titles there. So does this mean we could see some, I guess, M-rated N64 games? You made a video on this, Sean.
I did. I don't see why not, because if anything, like with the whole fact that GoldenEye and Jet Force Gemini weren't going to be there without this additional app that is for 18 plus, like if you're doing that in Japan, like why wouldn't you, like if the opportunity presents itself, because you got to remember there's a lot of mature rated N64 games and plus mature rated games on other platforms that we kind of hope eventually will come. You know, I think all of us kind of hope that more systems come to the Switch Online service, whether they be something like a Dreamcast or a GameCube eventually. But, you know, there's a lot of N64 games that were rated mature, and some of them are actually pretty good and fun games worth visiting. So I don't see why you couldn't do something like this.
Conker's Bad Fur Day? Think they put that in there?
I mean, there's a chance. I'm thinking more stuff like, you know, a Resident Evil 2 N64 version.
Which would be cool.
Yeah, I actually like that version of the game. Like, yeah, the audio's dog shit and the cutscenes aren't very great, but like, you know, it was running on high res textures, and then with the additional shine of the 64 emulation they do, I think that game would look really cool. And you know, it just, I don't like limits on this sort of stuff. You know, I feel like, you know, if you are of age, like you should be able to play these games. And if we're going to stick with this subscription service where I can't purchase the games on the system, I feel like there should be a variety. So, you know, to me, I think there's a chance now for sure. Nightmare Creatures. I see someone saying Nightmare Creatures in the comments too. Nightmare Creatures was another one. Turok 2. Although the Turok games did come from limited run, but still some people don't buy those. I mean,
it'd be cool to have Perfect Dark thrown in there too, just for the online play.
Perfect Dark. I mean, there's your Doom 64, even though it's already on the system technically, but you know, it's still, you know, maybe someone doesn't want to pay $3 to buy it. They want it on the Switch Online. It's a welcome addition. The more the merrier.
I also noticed that Rare tweeted about it, Jet Force Gemini, saying not only you can pound Jet Force Gemini's army of bugs with missiles via Game Pass and Rare Replay, soon you'll be able to do it on Nintendo Switch 2 if you're an NSO Plus expansion pack member. So it's interesting that they pointed that out with the subscription services with Jet Force Gemini.
I mean, it's just another common MVGL. Why do you think MVG got banned from Reddit? Because the man put his neck on the line and was like, they're making a new Banjo for the Xbox, and they never made it. And then I make, and let's be real, I see Bringer saying this, Jet Force Gemini, it's a good looking game, but those controls are
not good.
Atrocious. It's more of the principle of the matter. Like the principle of the matter is what I am laying my head on. They had
different control schemes. I remember you could switch between like controller type A, B, that sort of thing. I wonder if one of those will line up better with the Pro controller.
I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Oh, South Park, the first person shooter South Park.
I don't know if you could do that because that game really was never that good. Like after the first hour, like we pretty much saw everything.
I think do multiplayer with it. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it was like Turok Light at that point.
Like the pea snowballs. Yeah.
But once again, it's about
Cow
variety. It's about options. It's about stuff like that. And if we can get something like this so that games can be added into this service, whether they are N64 games or other platform games, I'm sure there's some GBA M-rated games as well. Like, cool, man.
Yeah, I'm all for them. Just why not? It's interesting that they would have to separate it in that manner, and I wonder if they would do the same here, or they just say, hey, it's rated E to M. But it's Nintendo is interesting with that kind of stuff. I would love to see Diddy Kong Racing though. That is a good point. I didn't even think of that, Sean. That would be incredible if they put that on there with online play.
That would be so good.
Huh. I'm actually surprised they haven't done that yet, because obviously there's some sort of working relationship to make this work.
You gotta milk it, man. They're milking this Rare thing. It's clear as crystal that there is a working relationship. It should have been clear as crystal when fucking Banjo was in Smash Brothers. People still doubted it, but after after Banjo on 64 online, after GoldenEye, after this, now it's like, okay, let's drop the nonsense and start to realize that, hey, Mortal Kombat 4 on N64 as well.
Ooh, that
Killer Instinct Gold.
Did we figure out how long, like what kind of leeway are they going to give MVG over on Reddit? So if Banjo gets announced 5 years from now, is he allowed back, or is that just like it's been too long?
When did he make that claim? It was like 2020. No, it was a while ago.
Was it more than that? Was it like 2 years ago? Okay.
I would give him 3 years tops. Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's me being lenient as a friend, because I think that's ridiculous. Let's see if we can find it. Maybe.
Okay, you search that up. OJ, what do you think? You think we're getting a mature rated N64 section? We getting all these M-rated N64 games rolling in?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm here for the Rare partnership. Bring it in. I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big N64 guy. I'll be honest. So.
No,
I hope
big
so.
N64 guy.
Yeah, I hope we get them for people that like N64 stuff. It'll be good, and it adds more value to the expansion pass thingy. So I hope we do get more of them, because now more people are. I'm starting to see more people saying, "Oh wow, okay, now it's more worth it," right? So if we keep getting good games, or at least more of these Rare games that people want, then
let's look. We can even look in the future. Let's say we do get GameCube next gen or something like that, and now there's also the ability to bring mature rated games through that because they've done it here. I mean, that seems like that can open up a whole bunch of stuff, and obviously, I mean, Star Fox Adventures. That's a big one that could show up.
Imagine how exciting that would be. I mean, N64 is great, but GameCube is so much more exciting to see, like, what type of GameCube game. I don't want to turn this into N64 versus GameCube. Sorry. Anyway. I hope they do actually add some more stuff, because like you said, the whole 18 plus app that they had to do. So add them all, man. The more the better for the quality of the service.
You did mention Dreamcast as well, Sean.
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy.
You think that's a legit chance? You think a Dreamcast section?
Why not? There's a Genesis section.
Because let's be real, they're probably never going to make that Dreamcast Mini. They keep talking about it, but I don't know.
No.
They seem so unsure about attempting it probably costs like $200. Let's be real. They seem so unsure about that, but
I think people would buy it, but no. I mean, I would. But I don't think they're going to make one. But no, I mean, I don't see why. Like, the Wii should have been the standard going forward. The Wii U should have been the standard going for DS stuff, fucking turbo graphics, arcade games. That should have been the standard going forward. All right, so we rebooted it. We changed it from buying the games to just a part of the subscription service. I am sure that a lot of these companies would be interested in being in this subscription service for, I mean, if they weren't, then we wouldn't have any third-party games on the service. Obviously, there's a reason why these games come to the service. So, open the floodgates. Don't close the borders on this, John.
Okay. Bringing everyone together. Josie, would you play Dreamcast games if they showed up? Can we get Josie on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've never played any Dreamcast games, honestly, so it'd be a new experience.
You can play him with Max. You can play him with Max. He's a Dreamcast guy.
That's true.
You should have told him that. He would have brought his entire collection with him.
Yeah,
and like shown you all the games. I just realized that you've never played a Dreamcast ever before.
No.
Oh,
not even emulated it. No, I mean. All the big consoles people talk about, your Dreamcast is usually not totally in that discussion, Okay. Like, at least when I was, like, sort of...
It wasn't around for... I mean, technically, it wasn't around for very long, so...
Yeah. When I was, like, figuring out retro games and getting into it, I wasn't, like... I was like, oh, the NES, I gotta play a bunch of these. SNES, gotta play a bunch of those. The original PlayStation, but... Yeah. Also, I think Sega's not really around anymore, like, console-wise, so it just wasn't really on my radar that they... had those systems to
They
begin with.
got some
But then
mini consoles. They did the mini.
Yeah. I played a lot of Genesis games, though, because my dad had a Genesis, and so I played, like, Golden Axe and all that when I was a kid.
Good man, good man.
What is Sega doing to really release a lot of their Dreamcast games? Like, they don't really have do they have a bunch of Dreamcast games on services for people to play?
Nothing.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
it's not
that's
even
like, I have no
it's not even
access to it,
Josie's
really.
fault. It's not even her fault
Right.
because Sega's not doing anything to re-release these. Like, for example, Skies of Arcadia. Where the hell is Skies of Arcadia? Like, like where's that game at, man? Like, it's
Maybe
ridiculous.
that's their super game. They just got all the contracts back and they just released one collection.
They got to sign the deal. They got to sign the paperwork with Nintendo. Get the Dreamcast icon on there.
Yeah, Dreamcast
That'd be
would be
awesome.
good. Skies of Arcadia would be great. There's a lot of good Dreamcast games.
A lot of them held up very well too.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Because
Well,
you
did
know,
you
it's
see?
like. It's
Oh,
good.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, did you see that Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle is getting a re-release in Japanese arcades with online capability? So give me that fucking game on a console, you cunts. What are you doing?
You have to go to Japan and go to the arcade like everyone else.
I have to run Sega because you know they're just like that's the most bizarre thing. It's like what's the most dying medium right now? Arcades. Okay, let's put Virtua Fighter 3 TB in the arcades with online play. You know, you could just release that on a console. You could put that on all the consoles with the online play, and because I think it's using the net code from Virtua Fighter 5 Showdown, which was a console game. Like, holy shit!
It
man.
is weird that you go to the arcade to then play online against other people. Is that what's happening here?
Yes.
Arcade internet can't be that great, right?
I mean, you assume it would be because it's controlled, but you're probably right. It's probably not great. That is one of the weirdest things I read that I was like, what? They're putting it in arcades. Okay, I guess.
I mean, it's just Virtua Fighter 3 TB. Like, it's just like, what?
You gonna fly to Japan, Sean, to play it?
No.
Make a whole video on it?
I play it on the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast version's super good, I think. It just at the time people were a bit disappointed because it didn't really add that much to it. But I think they, the graphics were really good.
Oh, you know what I just realized?
Really
If they did a Dreamcast app on the Switch, they would make a new controller too.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I would buy
I'd
that.
be here for that. Yeah, I'd be here for that. That'd be fun. Okay. Yeah, I need to get on that.
What generation was it? Was that PS2 sort of?
It came out a little bit before the PS2, and then the PS2 was like, hey, we also have a DVD player. And it was just like
that kind of hurt them. Yeah.
And you could rip games on the Dreamcast super easy. And I was just like, all right. But like that fucking launch of that system, dude, that launch lineup is just amazing.
And you can make the argument when you look at the Dreamcast visuals, they were very sharp, and you could play it through VGA, and you could look at that and say, you know what, that may have aged better than the PS2 with those even the component cables to the PS2, because the PS2 had like this blurry effect kind of to all the characters on screen. It looks clean still.
Yeah, no question. Like especially like first party games like Virtua Fighter 3 TB. You look at the Daytona USA that came out on it. Like a lot of those games, and it's the color palettes too. I feel really helped out a lot of those games because it's very vibrant. Where with the PS2 and then especially with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but like the PS2 era was kind of the start of the more muted colors. I felt.
Yeah, I think once it started trying to get much more realistic, they were like, oh, let's hide a lot of these deficiencies when we do close-ups of characters and stuff by making it like a lot of like darker colors, as Sean is saying, where they kind of pulled back a lot of the hues and the brightness. So let me go over here to Sony, who is facing a lawsuit that they thought they'd be able to get out of. Not the case. This over in the UK, and this is not a small lawsuit. It's worth up to $7.9 billion, which is quite a bit of money. And here's the interesting thing. We've talked about this here on the podcast a couple of times, and I guess a lot of other people noticed and were able to successfully at least get them to court, as Sony was calling for it to be thrown out. But it looks like over in the UK, they'll be going forward with it. And the idea here is the company, this according to Alex Nail, who is representing actually a whole bunch of people, consumer advocate, says the company abuses dominant position by requiring digital games and add-ons to be bought and sold only via the PlayStation Store. That, of course, charges 30% commission to developers and publishers, which in turn say, hey, these people aren't able to change prices as they might at retail, where retailers will mark stuff down to move it. And if you've noticed, Sony has removed a lot of these games from sale for those little download cards. You can only buy currency cards. And I know, OJ, we had talked about this before, where they are trying to funnel everyone to just buy games from the digital store or Control. And now they're kind of being called and put into court for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
OJ, any comment?
I mean, okay, you want me to comment on this? I thought you were going to talk more about there was more to it. Yeah, it looks like it's just like a big lawsuit, but yeah, I think it's kind of scummy, right? It's a little scummy what they've been doing. Obviously, they're in a really good market spot right now. They're like destroying the Xbox. Like, did you guys see the sales numbers or like the sales, the European breakdown?
Yep.
Xbox is like getting like stomped. Like,
isn't it 7-1 or something?
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
like stone cold. Like, you know when he stomped the mud hole on people, like, and like they're getting a mud hole stomped at them like bad. So it's like now you're having these like where you can only buy games from PSN. You have like the digital only PlayStation. Like Sony's clearly trying to funnel everything towards that because of the situation that they had last generation with the PS4 and like just games being discounted to like what was it? I think Last of Us was like $10. You know, it got
pretty cheap pretty fast. Yeah,
it got cheaper. So they don't want any of it. They don't want loose copies around. They want everyone buying through their stores. So it looks like it's kind of catching up to them though now because people are upset and they're doing this lawsuit. Don't know if it's gonna work out, but that's the whole origins of this lawsuit. It doesn't seem like, you know, Sony's clearly trying to cut off the middlemen here, the stores and all that, so they don't have to do all what they did before, you know?
It's kind of interesting you mentioned that because Demon's Souls, it's on sale right now for like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Otherwise, though, it's still $70. And that was a game that came out with the system when that released.
Wasn't that something that they said? I specifically remember talking about that at the launch of the PS5's generation, is that they were going to start to value their IP more. In a more Nintendo-like manner where, you know, deals are a lot less. So, I mean, that's just, and the thing of it is like, if people had a problem with it, they wouldn't buy the games, but, you know, people are still buying games. People are still buying PS5. So money talks.
Although I do want to see because, you know, if you look at like the PlayStation 4, and I know it's a little bit early, I guess, with the PS5 generation, but if you look at what, like, let's say Horizon sold, and if you look at what God of War sold, I mean, those sold up to, you know, 20 million units. I'm not so sure if the games now are going to get to that point because they don't have these sales, but since they're selling for so much more, they're going to maybe make more money on them over the course of time, and it doesn't devalue their IP like you were saying. So I'm thinking whatever short-term hits that they take for not selling as much, they're okay with it because their IP is going to still be valued more. You'll be able to get, you know, they won't have to discount it down to $10 or whatever the case is, right? So I'm interested to see exactly like long-term, will the sales actually catch, you know, like what the PS4 games did. Like Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man on PS4 sold 20 million, if I'm not correct, right? Like, it
was. I know when they mentioned at one point they added everything up, and it was Miles Morales remastered and Spider-Man. It was like 30 some odd million for all of those combined. So yeah, that first one would have been a big chunk of all of that. So yeah, they got a tall mountain to climb with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I mean, even like the games now, you know, people are buying them at that $70 price point. Spider-Man 2 sold stupid well. God of War Ragnarok sold stupid well. The tail end will be a bit more interesting, but you know, if I'm a company and, you know, I could sell 100 things for $1 or one thing for $1,000, I'm like, hey, we only sold one motherfucking thing, but we made more money, and then my investors are happy. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, but this is they're getting called on it. I think they're trying to slip this one through into next gen when it's all digital, and then it's kind of too late. So I'm curious about this lawsuit because this could, if they lose, well, not Sony, but if the consumer advocacy group loses this, That's not going to be great, I feel like, for consumers going into next gen when there probably won't be disk drives attached to these systems and it's all just digital marketplaces. Because I feel like if that happens, Nintendo and Microsoft will take note too, and I feel like you're going to see those cards disappear for everyone. It's like, oh, yep, you come to the store that we run completely, and that's it. And it's going to be kind of rough, I feel like. Not a lot of options then.
It's such a bad consumer practice. Like, it's just so bad for consumers because, like, there's not going to be any pre-owned games or anything like that either. Like, that whole market is pretty much going to go out as well.
Yep, that's why GameStop said we're bringing movies back. What? Yes, you didn't see that?
No, they're bringing movies back?
Yes. When I worked at GameStop.
Oh, I hated the DVD section.
We were phasing out the movies and the music CDs. And I remember we had that Uncle Luke CD. And every morning when I'd go in there, they'd play Uncle Luke just to make me like wake up and get in the mood and stuff. Like, it was good shit. But yeah, there were like, you could get like 10 CDs for like $2. So like we had all these ridiculous sales because GameStop they've never stuck with something. They're always trying to move on to other things, and it's just like, what?
That's because people would bring in bags of DVDs
and to get like money, and it's like, bro, you're getting pennies for these, all right?
And most of them, GameStop's like system was so limited for recognizing a DVD. You'd scan it and be like, it's not here. Hit this button for it. Traded for general DVD or something like that, and it would give them 10 cents. And I got to the end of it. I'm like, all these DVDs are worth like it was like a whole huge mass amount of $10. And I'm like, all right, cool. They're just taking up room. So we throw them on the shelf for like $2 or $3 a piece, and people would come in and clean up that DVD section. So I guess technically, if you think about it in those terms, give out 10 cents, you get it back $2. That's pretty good.
That's also something I bought on Black Friday. You remember the original Batman cartoon from like the 60s that like Scooby-Doo and shit was like?
Oh, there was the crossover. That's right.
Well, they had the original Batman cartoon, the whole series of it, for like $15 on Blu-ray. And I was like, fuck, I got to buy this. I think Casey Kasem does the voice of Robin in it, and it's like I feel like watching these are gonna unlock core memories that I completely forgot, because I'm sure when I was like really little, like I would watch this stuff, but like for me it's just like I just remember the animated series stuff. But yeah, I picked that up for Black Friday too.
Do they have like any extra have you popped it in?
No, it's still sitting on the kitchen table.
I was curious if there were any fun extras or anything they included on there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it.
I remember there was one episode that I think it was a crossover. I feel like it hasn't aired in forever. It was like a lost episode or something of Batman and Scooby-Doo. Someone might know what I'm talking about. No,
stupid. Don't you remember that one night we were talking about it, and then we were playing some game, and then I bought it on Amazon Prime, and I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to watch this shit. That shit was fire, dude. It was cool as shit. You had the Penguin and the Joker in there too. Like, it was awesome. It was a great episode. Well worth the $2 I spent buying it.
Gosh. I'll be following this course. I'm just curious how it turns out, because it could shape next generation, especially if it's all digital like we're kind of expecting. You guys did bring up the Xbox hardware situation right now, and I have noticed that a few others who follow Xbox very closely are also recognizing this, but Microsoft, their hardware in particular, is kind of going in the wrong direction right now, and it's been highlighted heavily in Europe. You guys mentioned it was like almost like a 6 or 7 to 1 right now between Sony and Microsoft in terms of hardware there. Yeah, and it's down even more than that in terms of just year over year, with Microsoft down double digits consistently, and it's very strange, because usually in the third year you would be up double digits from the previous month, the previous year. But my concern is I feel like they're trailing behind the Xbox One right now, and that's not the direction I thought they were going to head in right now, because the Xbox One with Don Matrick, while he was well ahead of his time, a visionary obviously, didn't give off the best impression then, and Sony took advantage of it and just beat them into oblivion, to where Microsoft thought about pulling the plug basically on Xbox at one point. But I mean, Phil Spencer came in, convinced them to buy Minecraft, turned it all around. Sure, I was not expecting to hear that they were trailing the Xbox One or even right alongside of it. I thought they would have been well ahead in terms of the first 3 years, but then seeing that they are down consistently year over year again is odd. I'm not really sure what the deal is here, whether it's just the games that they need to try to get out consistently or because they are just like, hey, play it wherever you want, the emphasis coming off of the hardware.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. That's what I'm seeing, at least. I think people are finding less of a reason to buy it, and their exclusives haven't been as impactful. Like, I think PC's taking some of that, right? Some people just say, okay, I can just get a super nice PC instead of getting an Xbox, and I can pretty much play everything. And most of the time, I can play it in better quality, right? Like, depending on how your PC rig, like Starfield, you can play that, the 60 frames compared to the 30. So I think that's part of it. I also think the fact that Nintendo also has a better system in comparison to the Xbox One and with the Wii U, right? The Wii U clearly wasn't there, so there wasn't as much competition. So obviously Xbox is going to do a bit better, but now you have Steam Deck coming in, you have all these different handheld PCs, you have the PC market, you have Switch, you have so many different things that are like factoring in. Sony's going to be strong because they have their exclusives. So I think right now, like, the odd man out is kind of like the Xbox at this point, right? That's what it seems like. It just seems like, and they're, like I said, their exclusives aren't hitting. Like, if they had some exclusives that were hitting, I think maybe it'd be a bit better. But what has been the big, driver that you can definitively say, okay, this made the system, right? Like, you have God of War Ragnarok, you have Spider-Man 2, you have Horizon, you have some of these games that are game of the year quality. But with Xbox, I mean, what do you have that you can say definitively just on Xbox, right? I think that's the issue that they're dealing with in terms of getting people to just buy the system. Not saying the quality of the games or whatever you like or what that's different. I'm just saying just for system selling, right? Just the traditional way of selling a system. You got a big exclusive, you sell the system, right? Like, that seems to be diminished on Xbox, at least. At least that's what I'm saying.
I think it's interesting because their revenue is pretty strong right now in terms of what they're bringing in, but the hardware isn't like the strongest it's been. So it's odd that it doesn't match up that way, but I guess it's just Microsoft's path right now is the hardware. While they're still manufacturing it, they're still doing R&D with it. Clearly not the be all end all for them. It's Game Pass, and like that's at the center, and I guess the console is the way there for many people, which is why I'm a little surprised that they wouldn't have maybe more urgency. I feel like if you buy an Xbox, you're probably signing up for Game Pass. Like, there's a better than not chance you're signing up for it.
That's the thing that I don't understand, why they're not a little bit more kind of gung-ho on that. Because it's like, if you buy an Xbox, you'll probably get way more subs. But apparently they're thinking it's, we can do PC, we can do mobile, people will buy it that way. And I know their revenue's strong, but it doesn't seem like their Game Pass subscriptions are like dramatically increasing year on year or, each month. It doesn't seem like, but I mean, they're doing good in terms of revenue. That's fine, but it just doesn't seem like things are increasing the way that they would have hoped, at least. But I would think that they probably want to sell more systems, because I think, like if you get an Xbox and Game Pass is there, but if you're not selling as much, then you're not going to get as many Game Pass subs, right? I don't know the atmosphere on PC. Maybe Evan can talk about what people think about Game Pass on PC or mobile. I mean, I'm not sure if people are like really crazy about it on those systems or not.
I mean, Evan, you haven't really signed up for Game Pass on PC because I think you said the mobile or the Windows app.
Yeah, I don't really like
it.
the source of the Windows app. And I had a buddy that I was watching stream tons of games all year, specifically from Game Pass. That was his whole thing, was like, I get all these free games. It's great. And a ton of them he'd have to like off stream play for hours because it would just lose his save file. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there, but it is basically that like the online for PC is usually free. So like, why not just go there? And then of course, if you're building the PC anyway, then you get access to the markets on PC, which is sort of the semi counter to the digital future issue of consoles, is that like, yeah, it can be all digital, but now it's Steam versus Epic versus good old games versus, so the markets are all there instead of console. So you can kind of like go in and out of using Game Pass, and then you just have access to everything else.
They did talk about at one point trying to integrate Game Pass into Steam and try to get Valve to go for it. I'm curious, Evan, if Game Pass showed up on Steam and everything was there normal, like it's Steam, and they had the library of games and it's like the $10, but would you sign up for that?
If it was download through Steam, maybe. But if it was just a launcher for like
Right.
a program that I had to run to then get. No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay. So if it was Game Pass just natively in Steam, you'd be interested. You'd look at it.
Potentially, yeah, because I think it would. I feel like it would be easier to cancel at that point then as well if it's through
That's
Steam. Because like if you're not playing anything on it, why would you pay for it? And that's kind of the big issue. Is if I just forget, I don't want to just keep paying.
I feel
for
like
it.
that's one of the reasons that Microsoft had evaluated Valve and thought about buying them, because if they bought Valve, they would all of a sudden have Game Pass integrate in, and everybody in Steam would have Game Pass on their front page looking right at them one day. That is a large number of PC users there. So that's the only reason I can really think of them wanting to buy Valve for that Steam marketplace. But Josie, you have a Series S. You talk about it here and there.
Yeah, I love my Series S, and I do like the Xbox a lot. But I agree with OJ. I think a lot of the issues, like everyone's been saying, Xbox's focus isn't really on their own hardware. It's on Game Pass, which is great and an awesome service that I love. But if that's not really the focus anymore, on top of them not having, people think the games are great that they like, which is fine, but they don't really have any definitive system sellers. It's not like there's a Breath of the Wild for Xbox, really. So I think they just need to, I don't know, I think they sort of need to reprioritize just putting out good games, and I think the sales will pick up. I also don't super know. I mean, I don't know.
I think nobody asked me. I think it's still a little too
the emulation king.
I think it's still a little too early to look too much into it. And I know that's a weird thing to say because you would expect this to, 3 years since they came out, but Xbox obviously, fumbled out of the gate with games and stuff like that. And now they're finally starting to get into their swing. I think at the end, if we're having the same conversation next year, at this time, what I guess would be the 26th, we would have this conversation. If we're having this conversation next November 26th or 24th, I don't know which way the calendar will work, then it's time to start worrying, because you're going to assume that they're going to start getting their mojo with some of the bigger exclusive titles in 2024. And if they haven't, then yes, I think it's time to, not doom and gloom, but a reevaluation or something like that. And I hope and pray that we can get either Colt Eastwood or Peter Ovo on the show for that episode, because they know their Xbox a little bit better than you do, John.
Well, we'll have to revisit that when we talk about the Xbox tax coming up next. First, though, I do want to give a shout out to a sponsor for the podcast. That's Factor. You can cross meal prepping off of your list this holiday season with Factor. Spend less time grocery shopping, cleaning up with Factor's never frozen meals delivered straight to your door. These meals are expertly prepared, ready in just 2 minutes, and all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Choose from over 35 chef-crafted meals every week that support a healthy lifestyle like Calorie Smart and Vegan Veggie, or if you need an extra boost, try Protein Plus with 30 grams protein or more per serving. Factor also offers breakfast items, lunch to go, grab-and-go snacks, shakes, smoothies, and more for those of you who are constantly on the move. This December, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/Spawncast50. Use code Spawncast50. Get 50% off. That's code Spawncast50 at factormeals.com/Spawncast50 to get 50% off. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring today's podcast. Check out the link down below with the coupon code. Appreciate Factor for coming through for the podcast. The Xbox tax has come up again and again and again.
Why are we talking about this?
And then again. I thought this was like a little thing online, right?
Why did you think I made a video about it? Like, it was
I honestly, when I heard it, I thought it was like this weird thing that maybe just popped up from one person online, and it just kind of made them rounds, just kind of, memes all over the place. This is like a legit thing, like in terms of people looking at this and saying, no, this is real. So I wanted to give it a fair shake, okay? The Xbox tax.
Have at it.
People genuinely believe the Xbox tax is a thing, in the sense that I feel like it's like bias in the media. I assume that's what is kind of being prodded and poked at here.
Which I don't get why they call it a tax. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of implications here. You know, there's audits could happen. There's an IRS somewhere. There's a lot of things that should really scare people outside of just media bias here. But the Xbox tax, I was surprised it caught on so much. And I feel like, did this happen just because the Game Award? That seems like when it came up, the Game Awards, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
Starfield's not there, so it's an Xbox. Well, what would you put in? Let me ask you this first. What would you guys put in? Starfield or Hi-Fi Rush for Game of the Year if you had to pick one?
Me personally, I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is the better game for sure, a more accessible game, but Starfield was the big AAA game. So I feel like, like I said, if Starfield was in the running for Game of the Year, I would have been fine with it. The fact that it wasn't in the running for Game of the Year, I was fine with it. You know, Hi-Fi Rush is a better game, but I mean, do you even think that would be classified as enough because it's not a AAA game? And I feel like, oh well, that's the Xbox tax. Like, you can't. You know, you can only scream at a wall for so long until you realize that, hey, you know, these people are never gonna change no matter what, unless they're Crap Gamer who went from Xbox to PlayStation back to Xbox. But shout out to Crap Gamer.
I feel like if I had to pick between the two, I would have gone with Hi-Fi Rush just because I think it felt very unique and new for what they were doing with gaming. So I don't think Starfield was like the 7th choice. I think it was further down the list, but Starfield is the one that really seemed to set this whole thing in motion with Xbox tax. And I feel like at that point, people started looking back and finding things that were mentioned. IGN comes up a lot in this. I've noticed that people are going on social media and finding the people who write for IGN and like picking out all these quotes from
even
them.
an Xbox guy. They're attacking Destin, who likes Xbox. Look at this Xbox guy being all biased when he worked for IGN, or he still works there. But he's biased because he said Xbox is 900p instead of 1080p like the PS4.
I mean, it kind of was. I mean, no, it wasn't always. Sometimes it was 720p. But the issue here is people believe it so much that it's like real to them. So you can't really.
Here's the main problem.
Otherwise,
I've had people tell me, well, look at this. Every single thing they say, look at this, there is a logical counter. One person said, we never got articles about people saying to move on from, you know, other games because there was articles being written about people saying that, you know, articles talk about move on from Call of Duty. It's like, dude, there's been articles being written to talk about how we need to move on from buying Madden, NBA 2K, and a variety of other games that put out crap every single year, or just put out things that people don't like. There's always some type of counter, and the response to that, when you logically and factually point out, well, no, this has happened before, various other things, is, oh, well, okay, I see that, but no, I still believe this. Respectfully disagree. So it doesn't matter what you say or what you counter with. Because trust me, in the future, if Microsoft has some type of banger 90+ rated game and it gets Game of the Year or something, all of a sudden the Xbox tax is gone. It's evaporated because there wasn't any Xbox tax in the 360 era, was there?
No.
They were getting Game of the Year nominee. They were getting Halo, Fable, whatever, Gears of War. All these games are being nominated for Game of the Year and doing great and selling great. And 360 was selling, so there was no Xbox tax there. But now all of a sudden there's some type of fake Xbox tax, right? Because from what era? From the Xbox One, now the Xbox Series. Like, it's insane. Microsoft just needs to make better games. They need to make better games. That's it. That's really all it comes down to. They need to make better games, and they've got Activision, right? They've got that. They've got people that can make incredible, like Bethesda can make great games. So just make them now. They've bought up everything that they need to buy up at this point, maybe even more. Now just execute. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this Xbox tax things. It's stupid because I've been playing Microsoft or Xbox since the beginning, and this crap was never a thing. The original Xbox 360, Xbox One, it wasn't even really kind of a thing. It was just Microsoft was struggling in that era. I mean, they did okay, but they were struggling. So it's just brought up now to make excuses for themselves. I mean, there's not really there's nothing there.
Do we know who came up with the term Xbox tax? I feel like there were better ways to, like, you could have named this differently.
It had to be 5 people on a forum that got some kind of server farm to bot it out on social media. Like,
I'm still like, I'm looking at this as, okay, this is just like media bias is what Xbox tax means. That's kind of how I just view it then.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's all because I feel like it's just the Game Awards really pushed over the edge. So in that case, if next year Hellblade 2 comes out, scores a 94 on Metacritic or something crazy, right? Like they've been working on this for a while. They have big budget behind Ninja Theory. They're very talented. Comes out, boom, Game of the Year nominations. Do we all get rebates then? Is that what happens? Like we get because that's kind of what it feels like right now. Is we're in this time period where I feel like in the next 2 years, Microsoft could produce some of those games, and then it's like, was it ever actually real, or as you said, does Microsoft just need to have that top tier game that comes out that's not Forza? Like Forza Horizon's like untouchable in the racing genre. We know this. It's like the best one that comes out every couple of years, and it's just unfortunate that it's a racing game and we have a category called sports and racing for some reason. Like, all right, so that's kind of where I am with this. Is if we get to next year or the next couple of years, and Microsoft produces something that's not a racing game but is in the 90s, and it's like it's up there as everyone's looking at like, oh yeah, this is obvious, and it's not in Game of the Year awards, then I'll be like, okay, maybe there is something going on here, but I don't really think that's going to be the case. I feel like if they produce like that, then they'd be recognized for it.
Yeah, they will. So, I mean, we saw, what was it? 2021, wasn't there we talked about it last week, that what was it? What's that game, that platformer?
Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, wasn't that Game of the Year nominee?
Yeah, it was nominee. Yeah.
So Xbox tax?
Yeah, it was. I think people are looking at that because it's multi-platform. I guess. I don't know.
Also, didn't Microsoft sweep in and fund it after it was already under production?
They came out. They did. Double Fine said that Microsoft provided funding that allowed them to delay the game and make it better, which to me means it got a better score because it had more time to be in development and could get to that level of polish. So to me, Microsoft had direct influence on that game getting a Game of the Year nomination.
Oh, Xbox tax then, right?
Yeah, they paid the money to let the game be better. Yes.
So it's ridiculous. Like I said, 360 era, there was none of this. I guarantee you, if the games were reviewing as high and doing it as the 360 era, this would never be a thing. If the sales and the reviews were as high as the 360 era, this would not be a thing. It's just not there. So
yeah, I'm gonna see what happens with Hellblade 2, because I have a good feeling about that game. I think that game is gonna do really, really well with critics. And I think that'll be our best, I don't know, way to judge if this is really a thing, because I feel like it's not, and I think Hellblade 2 will prove it. So that is my thought process.
I also think that if Starfield is like your Game of the Year, and just let it be your Game of the Year, like I don't think it's that big of, like the Keeley words aren't that big of a deal, you know? Like I don't know, I like Pikmin 4, that's my favorite game of the year, and it's not in there, and I'm not saying there's a Nintendo tax or whatever. I think it's weird.
They got 2 games though. That's because they got,
well, yeah, I guess, but like I don't know, I don't think it's that big of a deal to get upset about and make up this whole movement.
For the individual, I mean, Game of the Year, whatever you have is that. But like, I guess the only thing that was kind of a problem with this was when certain people's bonuses that make the games are tied to these types of things. But that doesn't really seem to happen that much outside of sales anymore, or just Metascore.
It used to happen more with Metascore. I think there was a whole thing with, I feel like it was Fallout New Vegas. I remember that. There's a whole thing with that one. Apparently
like
Sony is real serious about that Metacritic score. Like they're the ones who are like really into that. When it comes to like bonuses or just how they view certain studios within Sony. Let me go over to some of the super chats here. Quest says, RGT, who changed your mind on the wrestling tier vid?
I was just bored this afternoon, and I didn't make a video today just because I'm in kind of like in Thanksgiving-ish lazy mode,
the holiday
like,
funk. Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, I don't know what I want to talk about tomorrow. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I actually just got the video right here, and I'm starting to skim through it. Did get a copyright claim because Brett used the wrong trailer for one of the games, but I can fix that real quick. It's looking good though. This is looking good. It's looking very exciting. Should be a entertaining 51 minutes.
How many games did you rank?
110.
What was number 34?
No. It's not like that.
It's S tier, A tier.
Yeah. I found the list on Tier Maker and I was like, oh, perfect. It's an edited video. Like there's gameplay overlay and stuff like that.
Name one D tier game.
Fuck, you're making okay. I can look. WWF Warzone on the PlayStation 1 and N64.
Okay. I'll take that. All right.
There's a taster for everyone.
There's a S, A, B, C, D, F, and never played. The F tier is just like bottom of the barrel dog shit. And the never played obviously is never played.
Where is WrestleMania Legends of Wrestling 2?
D tier.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's not a good
Played that
game.
in a while. I haven't played it in a while.
Where is
all right, you're giving away all the sauce here.
There's 100.
I asked for one D tier.
I'll do one more. OJ.
I forgot my train of thought.
Okay.
Let's see. Jalen says, kind of tempted to buy a 1 terabyte SD card from Amazon. Should I buy it now or wait till Cyber Monday? I mean, Cyber Monday, they'll be on sale, but I mean, I don't know what the sale is right this
It'd
second.
be the same price, to be honest, man.
It'll probably be within a couple dollars, yeah, either way. But let's see. Jose says, "Hey, all Target Circle had a PS5 for $350. I saw that. That was going pretty quick online. So they that's the Black Friday deal I like. They got to get that in store though, and they got to say there's 12 of them and just let people have at it. It's mayhem."
Well, I think Jake Randall was streaming trying to buy one live.
Yeah,
when they did
sounds
it,
right.
Like 2. Well, it was like 2 a.m. on Target's website.
You see, but back in the day, you'd have to camp out for that. You'd have to really want. You'd have to want the deal, right? Banana says, "Why does Steam have worse tech support? I'm still waiting 15 days for my account."
I mean, pretty much all companies have horrible tech support at this point. I mean, it always sucks.
What happened to their account? I don't know what happened to their account.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
15 days for it. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Gaming Pool says, "Who's ready for the next NSO wave of 2024? Do you think? Oh, DS will be heading that way." Oh, DS. I don't know. The Wii U worked out because you had 2 screens technically. It's gonna take your Switch and turn it like sideways. I don't know how they
Probably
make
not to
that
like
work.
Switch 2.
Yeah. Jorge says, "What do you think has to be done for Black Friday to be back as it was before? Or is it past that point?"
I think it's past the point.
The convenience of Amazon just kind of ruined that.
Well, and
things
I'm
on sale all the time.
And the availability of stuff. Go to a Target. I'm obviously speaking on a very specific thing here, but go to a Target, go to a Walmart, go to wherever. Look at the toy section. It sucks. There's no variety. The shelves have all been picked through all the time. And then you go online and it's like you have companies that only sell stuff online or in like small stores and stuff like that. Like you just have so many more options. And unless it's just some freaking amazing deal, there's no point.
When we'll whenever I get the old feeling of Black Friday and all that now is whenever a new system launches. So like when the PS5 and Xbox came out, it was super hard to get and there was that sort of thing. And I think whenever Nintendo's next system comes out, same deal. People rushing to pre-order, waiting outside, and that's how Black Friday used to be back in the day. No more. Davey says, "New PS5 owner. I just platinumed The Last of Us and I loved it. Now I'm about 12 hours into part 2. The story is there's a trash can there, but the combat is great."
Agreed.
From CJ, who says, "Why are people more offended by Stellar Blade than stuff like me, Bayonetta, or Nier?"
Hey,
Stuff like
casualties of a dice game. What can you say?
Oh,
people are more offended by Stellar Blade.
Why are people more offended by Stellar Blade than I'm just gonna say stuff like Bayonetta or Nier. I removed words for that to make sense.
Let Mr. Davis speak. I miss
Then-
Mr. Davis. Where's he been? Have you talked to him, OJ? Is he good?
Yeah, he was
Check
on my
in.
stream today.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Shout out to Mr. Davis. People.
Oh, CJ asks is because she has a big butt.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically talking about like a sexy woman in a video game, or sexy video game character. You know how people are, man. I don't think anyone really gets upset about anything like this. I think people just act like they get upset about things like this to kind of show their ass. But they would
not like the options menu in Dead or Alive back in the day, then.
Right? I mean, the whole game was
any Dead or Alive game.
Don't play any, because there was about the breast physics. That was like
It was tied to the age that you set.
Yeah.
Oh, Josie, you got to play Dreamcast. See, look at the world of Dreamcast awaiting you right now.
Yeah, this is really enticing now.
No, Josie,
Yeah.
there's a game on Switch. You can play Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Just go ahead and pick up that game. See what you think.
I don't know.
Go ahead and do the casual noob gamers donation as well. It's funny. I'll read it. Casual noob gamer, $1.99. Do the Hulk Hogan games get ranked in the KKK tier? There was no KKK tier, but I did give Hulk Hogan's main event. It was either even though I never played it, I'm pretty sure I still gave it an F for the Kinect.
That's funny. That's good.
That was a good one. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Burn says, hi, how was everyone's Thanksgiving? Mine was good, minus the Lions losing. Mine was good, plus the Lions losing. It was good.
I
It was good.
very happy about that Lions loss myself.
We went out to the Longwood Gardens. It was very nice. We skipped Thanksgiving and just went right to Christmas.
But you didn't have Thanksgiving dinner, John?
No, I did. I had that when I get back. Yeah, like turkey, stuffing, all that stuff. But we went there. It was later. Had a later dinner, but it was nice there. You go Longwood with all the lights up and the massive trees and light shows and stuff. It was fun. It's a good time. Luxian says, fully 100%ing Super Mario RPG Remake was a heck of a challenge, but worth it. There's so much stuff I missed in my playthrough of the original.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 100%ing or beating all that. I still need to beat the game fully, but I'm doing everything that I can up until that point. Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. The 100 jumps was the most annoying thing. I think it took me like 6 hours to do that.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
Jonathan Pacheco says, has being a YouTuber helped you meet any of your idols? My idols.
I don't have any idols when it comes to YouTube. I don't think of people that way.
I didn't have any idols, but it was really cool because I watched the Spawncast for like 5 years, and now I'm on it. So that's cool.
Oh, look at that. See?
Yeah,
there you go. I met Sean's idol when I had David Hayter yell at him online. That was good. Sean's not here, but that's one of his idols.
I will say that I did do some stuff local. Apparently somebody at a school here locally is a fan of the Spawncast, and they did invite me to speak, So
that's cool.
Yeah, that was
super
cool.
cool.
That was super cool to see. They have like a multimedia class, and kids wanted to know about people who do that. So that was the coolest thing that I've ever done, like associated like with this, not meeting some type of celebrity or something like that. I don't care about that.
Was it like a high school?
High school. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Trevor says, John, ironic to your comment of the day on Wednesday, I picked up 4 new Switch games from GameStop online this week, and all 4 arrived opened, unsealed, and one was heavily worn. Absolute garbage practice. Request a return right away. Yeah, you want to go to GameStop and see what new game they're attempting to hand you is what I'll tell you. It's not great, but if you go in with the mindset of getting used stuff, a lot of times they do buy 2, get the 3rd free post like Black Friday. So next week they'll probably do that, in which case that you do like the little discount card, you can get stuff pretty cheap that way. But again, no, you're getting used stuff. This is from Varang, who says, I bought Vita. I assume you're saying I bought a Vita. Game recommendations, please, and thank you. That's what they said. I liked Freedom Wars. That's probably the one I'm going to recommend to you. It's very different, but it's an interesting game on the Vita. That would be my recommendation for you. It would have been Persona 4, but that's all over the place now. So I will go with Freedom Wars, Varang. I love Coke Slurpees says Dreamcast is the best retro console to collect for. Lots of great unique games, lots of great mods, new enough to be updated easily, but old enough to have tons of content. Plus VMUs are awesome. That's true. If you got a Dreamcast, Josie, you get a GD Emu, and you can put all the games on an SD card and play it right there on the Dreamcast.
YouTube.com.
There it is.
The controller looks really cool. I just want to see what that feels like.
It's the controller feels pretty neat.
Like
yeah, the VMU is really cool. That's something that sometimes will surprise you in the game. Like if you play Virtua Tennis, if you look down on the VMU, the little stick figure will follow and mimic your character on screen and will be swinging the tennis racket on the little tiny little.
That's like that little screen that you put in.
It's also that's where you save your games too. I think Madden showed the plays on it so that people couldn't see them on the screen.
That was the best thing.
NFL 2K.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that was the best thing. You'd pick it on the VMU, and the people near you wouldn't be able to see what you're picking. That was fun. That was a cool idea.
There were games that had pets that you could then take the VMU out, go to school, and you can connect the VMUs, and they would like interact with each other. It's cool.
The Dino Crisis and Resident Evil 2 and 3 came over with like enhanced graphical ports, and it showed your life meter with the little pulse on the VMU.
Yeah, which one showed really your ammo on it? Because you could drop it into did it have like a Time Crisis game or something? There was something was it House Dead? House Dead, that's what it was.
Yeah,
okay.
The Dreamcast has great light guns, but you need the TV for it, and they have some fantastic fighting games. Some of the better releases for fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.com.
I gotta bring it to Switch Online.
There it is.
YouTube.com.
Dark Dream says, I do like how Jason basically confirmed recently there was never a bad KOTOR remake. Struggle to Aspire and Embracer shows earning reports saying it's coming twice, but sure grub, it's dead in line. Thanks, Dark Dreams. Future Millionaire says, OJ started.
I don't trust Embracer.
OJ's started watching your best of RPG games for Switch, and I've started to collect. I'm old school, so I do prefer physical, but I can't pass a good deal on digital.
Yeah, I mean, I think that RPGs, and first of all, thank you for watching those videos. They take a long time to make, but I'm glad that you're watching them. But yeah, RPGs are really good. Like, they're good to buy physical because obviously having them probably be rare, but also they're good because if you have multiple Switches, like RPGs, like if you want to just go back to them, they're really good to have it digitally as well. So if you see some good deals, don't skip out on those, but just of course keep your eye out for the physical stuff too as well.
AMG asks, does everyone have an OLED TV? I feel like I'm late on getting one, but finally got one from Amazon for Black Friday. Ended up getting a 77-inch C3. Wow, that's a pretty legit TV. Yeah, 77-inch. There's one right there. That's an OLED, and then I have one in the other room, and then one downstairs. So I have that one's a Sony. Then I have the C1.
John also has one in the bathroom too. Did you guys know that?
No, I don't have nothing in the bathroom, but I do have OLED downstairs as well. But the Sony one is nice because it has better HDR, but that's more for watching movies and stuff, I would say, because it's capped at 60 hertz at 4K.
I finally convinced my parents to get an OLED last Christmas or something because their TV was like a super old Panasonic. It was atrocious. So.
Yeah, OLED's the way to go. When it's time to upgrade, just get an OLED, you'll be all right. Alpha says, what dev do you wish re-released their retro content the most? For me, it's Ubisoft, but not just because preservation, but their homogenized IPs.
Sega.
I was about to say, we just talked about Sega for how long? Yeah, Sega would go. I feel like they would do really well if Sega just started tapping all of their retro IPs. But apparently they're doing a new Jet Set Radio, so there you go, we'll see.
And Comic Zone.
That one I don't know about, but I feel like Jet Set is coming soonish. So Comic Zone. Now, what's interesting is I feel like Comic Zone would do well now, just because that was. I'm not going to say the Dark Souls before Dark Souls. That was a hard game back in the day.
That thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, but it was such a cool thing because it had that fourth wall breaking where you kick the person, they go through the comic panel. That was awesome.
If you got a knife, you could use it to skip whole parts of the game by cutting through one of the panels.
It cuts like that was such a cool game. And I would love to see them have like a modern spin on that. That would be really cool.
It's a good looking game too.
Still looks good. Yeah. Cersei Julius asks, what do you guys think of the Lenovo Legion Go? Kind of have Switch-like features because the two controllers obviously come off the side. I mean, the device looks interesting. I don't know, just the OLED Steam Deck is really nice now. So it's hard for me not to just recommend people get the Steam Deck OLED. Also, it's cheaper. But Legion Go is interesting in the conceptual phase and the idea of using controllers like that. This is from Shinru, says, evening folks, started playing Mario Wonder and Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe. Haven't smiled so much playing a platform in a while. Also, skip Dark Souls on Switch. Game tries to hit 60 FPS but fails. Yeah, it'd probably be aggravating for a game like that.
Oh, I thought that's a 30 frames per second game for the most part. From what I remember playing.
For Dark Souls on the Switch.
Yeah,
it was 30.
Yeah. I didn't think it even tries to hit 60.
Bernie says, if Sony's stopgap between blockbuster games is just remasters of 4 to 5 year old games, I'll stick with Nintendo and Xbox, at least trying smaller games. Well, they do like their Last of Us. Let me go to this was a funny story. Ubisoft, they had a quote unquote technical error.
No, fuck.
Where they had that. Okay, so they had an Assassin's Creed ad pop up at a certain point in the game, and it was like a Black Friday deal they were running for Assassin's Creed Mirage, where it popped up and said 20% off. This was in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Some players noticed this when, for example, they would run to the boat to get on to then start sailing around or fast traveling. It would pop up with this ad, and Ubisoft says this was the result of a technical error that we addressed as soon as we learned of the issue. Is anyone buying that? Was this a technical issue, or were they just like, let's see if this can work? So I feel like this was them testing the waters to see if this would be okay, and they'd be able to kind of slip this one under.
This is absolutely them doing that. This is not a technical error. They're testing out whether they can put ads mid-game and all. This is insane. Do people actually believe that they don't want to try something like that? Especially like, what if they do like light versions of games, right? Like, let's say you can just download a game and you can play it for a bit, and then it just pops up and says, "Hey, buy this." Like, Ubisoft, no, I'm sorry, you can't trick me on that one. That's
every 5 minutes you get an ad.
Yeah, I mean, if they give you like a light version of a game where like it's, you download it and it'll just pop up right there after you've been playing for like 10 minutes,
like commercial.
Buy the game, or 15 minutes, buy the game, or buy this, or download if it's like a free to play game with like microtransactions, stuff. Yeah, they're testing it. It's not a technical error. That's what they're doing. They're working on that next thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say if I got caught or pushed it a bit too far. Like, oh yeah, technical error. We got to figure it out. Don't worry about it. Not about that one. And I did also want to talk about the AI stuff that happened over the last like 7 days. We talked about this a little bit on Direct Xbox as it was still going on, but it seems like they have a resolution now where originally OpenAI, the board, fired Sam Altman, the CEO there, out of nowhere. And from there, it was just a whirlwind. It looked like a circus from the outside. Microsoft and Satya Nadella coming in, trying to delegate the whole situation, try to fix it. The OpenAI board, they were starting to remove people there now. Sam Altman goes back. And the thing that really caught people off guard, because it looks so weird from the outside, was a leaked memo that got out there that appears to point to something that was pushing this ahead, or at least making all this happen almost out of nowhere, was because some sort of breakthrough that happened at OpenAI and concerns from developers or employees within OpenAI. And I wanted to make sure I have the exact source for that, who exactly reported that. I feel like it might have been Reuters who had that. But the issue they run into is if they made a breakthrough that would concern people within OpenAI so much that it would then get the board to then flip and try to get rid of the CEO. Was this them figuring out artificial general intelligence? And that's kind of the running theory now, which means that they would just about create consciousness. And if we would actually be prepared for that, or if things were moving way too fast and they were like, okay, we gotta calm down.
I don't think we're prepared for that at all. That'd be awful.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would work exactly for us, because I feel like if we created an Ultron or something, we would be in trouble before we knew it.
Yeah.
So it would get. I mean, that's the running theory now. It's not necessarily that is the case, but because of how vague it is, that there was something that basically sparked this, and from within OpenAI, different employees were saying there was a breakthrough that appears to be linked to this Q project that they have, Q Star, I believe is what's called, that there would be a significant acceleration to consciousness just about our general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, which apparently they have them solving math problems through reasoning and stuff now, and it's I don't know. And we know Microsoft is pretty well invested there. That's one of the reasons Satya Nadella showed up and was trying to fix this, because they're billions of dollars deep for OpenAI right now. And I think at this point, with how many companies are making AI and their own AI assistant, if you will, or system to interact with, it's like whoever races and creates AI first that rules the world, they then rule the world. This is like what it feels like right now. It's been.
This is just all bad.
How many years? I mean, I feel like I feel like this AI stuff has only been going on for a year and a half, 2 years. It hasn't been long, like really in the mainstream, and things have accelerated incredibly fast.
Everybody wants to rule the world. Dun, 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 dun.
What do you think? What do you think about the weird OpenAI stuff that happened, Sean, and how there's
bro? I watched Terminator 2. I know how this story ends. I'm just trying to get my money, live my life, and hey,
watch everything burn.
Watch everything burn.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, so they're running theories on it, right, with what happened at OpenAI. One theory is that they had made a breakthrough, as was mentioned by the leaked memos and information, that they made a breakthrough that could have been artificial general intelligence, nearly creating consciousness, or is it because the board versus Sam Altman in terms of their belief with nonprofit versus raising funds and trying to commercialize got a bit too conflicting?
Bro, it doesn't matter what the reason is, really, because if it's not open AI, it's gonna be somebody else. Like you're fucked. Did you see the tweet where it's a girl AI that made
the singer
own song? Yeah, like this is all in the infancy. Okay, this is all like we're in like pre-alpha stages of this shit. Like you're fucked. And so just hold on tight.
If they actually create a general intelligence artificially, right, and it has consciousness, you would then accelerate the development of AI even faster, because you would call on the AGI that is reasoning and learning to then help you develop AI, which would just exponential growth and development at that point. And because everyone's racing to commercialize, it's going even faster. And we're probably apparently we're less than there's some people theorizing we're less than a year off from AGI being reached, and then it's gonna be interesting. I don't really know. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't.
How do you think it's gonna go, John?
I feel like what's gonna happen is we will all believe we're in control until we're not, and then it's too late. That's what's gonna happen.
So Terminator 2.
Yeah, basically. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Any story with AI, that's the whole premise of Warhammer 40k. Like AI just wipes everything out.
AI the movie with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so
yeah.
we won't see it coming. It'll be too late because we're so reliant on technology. It'll be too late. It's like, well, there you go. We're going back to the days of fire and sticks, and that'll be
the
it.
Dark Ages.
Hell yeah.
It'll be like Horizon. There you go. Yeah, I don't
have somebody talking to me as much as Aloy. I'm good.
They'll talk more.
That sounds like Sean's complaint.
They'll talk more.
Nah, she was okay in the first game. Second game, she just talked too much.
Sean sent me a video message of him yelling at the screen because the people were having a conversation.
Because it was going on forever.
Gosh.
Nah, I mean, obviously there needs to be some sort of, fuck the government, but like there needs to be some sort of, they obviously did that with the SAG stuff, and the use of AI by movie studios and stuff like that. Like there needs to be, unfortunately, there needs to be some litigation involved in this. And the problem is you have the government doing it, who fucking lies to you all the time. So like, who really knows what the situation is going to be? Like, nah, man, shit's going to get hairy, bro.
Well, if you're the company that develops AGI, in this case OpenAI, then you would be able to use that to figure out everything the government's planning and all of their secrets and stuff, wouldn't you?
But even so, you would just be called a lunatic because it goes against mainstream thought process with stuff.
I don't know. I think
once people realize, it's too late. I had a discussion about this with ticks and stuff like that. Like, do you know why ticks are so prevalent? Because in the 1960s, the American government, it's a documented thing, look it up, released a bunch of ticks that they had been mutating at Plum Island and doing all these different diseases with. They released them. No, look it up. Look, it's literally like been in Senate because one of like a senator or something had Lyme disease and he like demanded the information be released and stuff. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I don't know. It's nuts.
I think people are gonna be think AI is all funny and fun in games, and then get serious real fast. So
I mean, anybody who's played Mass Effect knows AI can go too far.
They've been telling us this whole time.
Yeah, the Geth, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
There's already AI YouTube channels that people watch, and it gets picked up in the algorithms and shit.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
Twitch streams.
Oh, yeah.
It's all there.
There are. I mean, let me tell you something right now. You want to make a secret hustle? Learn AI and do YouTube. I'm telling you, there are people that make millions or six figures on doing that crap.
No, it's legit, because I'll be watching random videos and I'll start watching them and I'll be like, this is not a person talking. This is
sports channels. There are a lot of AI sports channels that just can compile a bunch of data for you, so you don't even have to research, and you can just, like, let's say top 10 quarterbacks based off of stats. All right. A lot of those channels that do that, they're just AI. People just, it's just AI based channels and people watch the hell out of those channels.
And you know what predicted stuff like this? Metal Gear Solid 2.
I thought you were going to say
kids. Do your homework, kids. Keep one eye open.
Yeah. Hey, Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of the best aging games ever.
Scary. It shouldn't be aging as well as it is. It ages better and better.
Kojima knew.
I think we need so much just regulation on all of this so that it doesn't get out of hand. But
yeah, but the problem is the people that are regulating it are going to be exploiting it.
Are the offenders, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no, I'm not a flat earther.
Yeah,
bro, look it up. Just look up how ticks became a thing and how they managed to spread and create all these diseases like Lyme disease and stuff like that. It's verifiable. There's tons of sources on it.
We did have Sony formalizing a publishing contract with the Stellar Blade developers, and it looks like this is going to have them Shift Up is the developer, but they formalized the publishing deal. They say through this contract, Shift Up officially becomes the first Korean company to join Sony's second party partner program. So we wondered what happened to Stellar Blade. Remember, it showed up and it had the Xbox logo there too. And I guess Sony swooped in and said, "No, you're gonna work with us now." And I guess they got enough money that they could kind of put it back in the oven for a bit, work on it. And the fact that they announced this now does make me wonder if they're there's some sort of announcement maybe at the Game Awards, since that's in 2 weeks, right? Yeah, week and a half. I'm thinking maybe we get another look at the game and maybe a release date. And I mean, it's something that I feel like most people were kind of looking at as a PlayStation game because it was shown at their one of their state of plays anyway. But I'm curious what this game is going to look like now after getting some of the backing from Sony with the publishing deal. And if I also wonder if this is a game that Sony is going to bring in and try to be more and more like, hey, this is like a first party game almost for us then in the year coming up. Because I kind of thought this would be a 2024 game. And we still have questions about what Sony's doing in 2024 exactly, outside of now The Last of Us Part 2 remaster and Helldivers 2. I assume this is getting positioned.
You don't stop bringing up Helldivers 2. Like it's
Helldivers.
You know what Helldivers 2 is?
Oh,
it's
gosh.
Redfall. It's Redfall.
Oh man, hold on. What? Hold on. The first Helldivers is okay.
I thought Helldivers is your type of game. That looks like your type of game, Sean, right?
No.
Wow. Okay.
A game I do not like that. And that trailer, I hated that trailer.
Yeah, the trailer was corny, but
corny. You're not
Redfall,
selling me on
though.
that game.
Man.
It's like a Redfall style game, like a
you
game
think
that's
it's going to be as bad as Redfall?
I think it's going to come along. People are going to play it for like a week. I don't think it'll be as bad in terms of like performance and stuff, but I think people will play it for a week and then they'll be like, what's next? Like I don't,
okay.
yeah, it's just a very generic looking game to me. If it's your if it's your cup of tea, go ahead. I'm not gonna rain on your parade.
We'll see what Helldivers. I don't think it's going to be an incredible, over the top, ridiculous game or anything. I think it's going to be more or less a way for them to kind of fill in that first quarter, that and the remaster for Last of Us Part 2. But then I kind of think Stellar Blade's going to fit into that second half of 2024. So I assume this announcement's coming out because they're getting ready to show it soon, and that's the game that the person said apparently was offensive to people, but. We'll see. Maybe it's been changed up a bit for all we know. So maybe at the Keeleys, which no one's has anyone really noticed? It has. I feel like the past couple of years there was a lot more hype going up to the Game Awards for announcements. I haven't really seen a lot of prediction videos or anything really popping up for that recently.
Too soon. That's next week.
Too soon. Okay.
Because I didn't know. Funny story. Before I decided to film the wrestling video, I was like, "Oh, that'll be a good video. Talk about what all the companies are going to do at the Game Awards." Thinking that it was this Thursday, and then I was like, "Oh, fuck, it's next week." I was like, "Well, all right, that'll be next week." Then. So
next
there you
week.
go. Spoilers.
Next week. Got it. Good to know. Let me take a look at some of the super chats here. Doctor says what Sony really needs to remake is God of War 1. I feel like with God of War, I mean, they've kind of set up what they're going to do with the next game, or apparently there's rumors that there's going to be downloadable content or expansion. I kind of feel like that expansion is going to be Atreus. I'm trying to think of what they're going to do with the next one, because what I feel like they said they wanted to do was change kind of the gameplay style a bit when they go to some other mythology or something. So I almost wonder if they would go back to maybe the more action, fast-paced, zoomed-out sort of view. But if not, you could remake God of War 1. I don't mind. Kind of cool.
It'd be cool if they took PS1 era games and remade them more.
Like old ones, yeah. So you have the PS2 and then the PS2 for God of War, but PS1, you want to go all the way back to the PS1 and like start remaking some of those games.
Yeah, some of them are like super iconic, and everybody's like, you have to play this game, but it's aged kind of like milk. So like, it'd help a lot if they,
they've done it a little bit. They did the medieval.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, but maybe they should do like Jet Moto 2, something like that, double pack remaster of that.
Do like a compilation of those games, and just it doesn't have to be like completely new and different. Spruce up the visuals, just give it a nice coat of paint. There is a difference between a remaster and a remake, so
yeah. You want to give a shout out to Nandito Hernandez coming in with the big $50 super chat. Shout out to Nandito. No message, but wanted to recognize them here. Shinru says, "Hey Evan, how do you feel about AI as an artist? I know many friends that are artists, and they're afraid it could take their jobs from them."
Oh yeah, that's the fear. That's why there's the whole thing where AI things can't be trademarked or copywritten, so it becomes problematic. Because at the end of the day, if Disney took a really good AI and just had it copyright as much IP that hasn't been set yet, like you're not writing a story without finding out that Disney owns it, and you can't do anything with it at that point. So yeah, there's fun stuff about it that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I'll be curious when a company attempts to develop an entire game with just AI, because that's going to happen at some point too, where it's going to be like a group of 4 people and they try to make a AAA game just from computer algorithms, basically.
And plus, what we didn't talk about in our talking about AI, we're talking about it from the USA perspective. There's a lot of other countries out there who are just gonna do whatever the fuck they want. We'll leave it at that. But if a company does do it, I pray that Sony Santa Monica does an AI game. God, I would love that. If you get it, you get it.
Let me talk a bit about Call of Duty for, I guess this would be next year. So this year's Call of Duty was not good for the single player. The multiplayer, people seem really happy with. I'm waiting for Warzone. I'll check out Warzone, but people seem to getting a kick out of that. The single player was not very good. You didn't like it, Sean?
It was ass. What do you mean it wasn't?
I didn't like it,
dude. It was poop McGee.
I was really disappointed with the no Russian
Xbox tax. Bunch of haters.
I got a review code for it early.
Xbox tax, bunch of haters.
Well, Treyarch is coming in for next year, and that's typically the developer that a lot of people look to now for Call of Duty. I feel like Sledgehammer does a pretty good job, and it seems like this last one was. Apparently, people within Sledgehammer didn't even know it was supposed to be a full game until like later in development. They thought they were making an expansion for quite a while, allegedly. In this case, though, it looks like Treyarch is coming back around, and they are bringing Black Ops with them. So they're going back to that brand. And apparently this is going to be set in the Gulf War. So that's different. It's something they haven't done before. So I'm curious how that's going to work with the single player, because I'm hoping they don't go back to this open area concept. That to me felt like, oh, we got to get this out in like a year and we don't have a lot of time. Let's just do Warzone maps, build it out with that gameplay and hope it holds. In this case, I sort of feel like they're going back to the linear set piece style. And that's, for me personally, I'd prefer that. I don't know, Sean, if you like the idea of the open area parts.
I mean, the open area, if it was executed good, it could have been better, but they executed it so poorly that it doesn't even, give me hope that they could potentially do it right.
I mean, I think Black Ops is obviously a very strong brand. This would be Black Ops 6, I believe now. So they've tapped it quite a bit. But I don't know, that single player, the story in the Gulf War, they could go with a lot of interesting storylines there that obviously would be leaning heavily into fiction with real events around it. That I'm hoping they can pull it off, but I think the problem is they know that not a lot of people play the single player. Like most people just play multiplayer and that's it, or just Warzone. And they keep doing this. They're doing this thing now where they're putting the single player campaign out, and that's all people have to talk about for a week, 2 weeks sometimes. And it's just not the strong aspect of Call of Duty anymore. It's just not. It used to be, but now it's all about the multiplayer in Warzone, and Warzone's still not even out for some reason. Like it's weird that Warzone takes so long to get out for this game when that's like its most popular mode. So did you play any of the multiplayer, Sean?
No, I've had really no interest in checking it out. I mean,
you're waiting for Warzone.
Yeah, I mean, it looks okay, but it just looks like standard old Call of Duty multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about the future of Call of Duty going forward, because on one hand, it makes a lot of money every year. We're going to say all this stuff, and I already know what the MPD is going to look like next month. Call of Duty's top of the charts, no sweat. Great. I feel like Call of Duty could get to a point where they can they can take a break for a year and get things right and lean on Warzone with more maps and microtransactions. It makes a stupid amount of money.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind Microsoft going
would,
that route.
would love to go that route. Hey, we just spent all this money on this company. Let's give them a year off. Let's let them hone their craft a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like after what just happened with Modern Warfare 3, I feel like they got to get things back in order and figure out, reset a bit.
Did it sell?
I mean, it's gonna sell. I am curious if it's gonna sell as well as last year's, because if it's declining, then because you always compare to yourself. In this case, these companies would compare to the franchise. I'm curious if it starts trending downwards. If they go, oh, we gotta figure this out. We gotta reset.
I don't think it'll just be. I don't think the downward trend will be enough, because by that logic, Madden should take a year off. Madden's been fucking,
got no problem with that
for a long time, but they don't do it because it still sells. And I mean, it could get terrible review scores. People can hate the game and talk mean about it on Twitter, and the Metacritic sucks. But if people are buying it, I mean, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, because that's the one case where even if like the people like fans online who are really plugged in don't buy it, it won't matter. The mainstream will still buy it.
Right.
And Call of Duty is in that same camp, so
it sells on its name,
I miss the days of when Black Ops 2 came out and everyone was on board. It was such an exciting time. The game was great, and it's fallen into this cookie cutter lackadaisical.
Yeah, but a lot of games have, John. A lot of these yearly games fall into those pitfalls, and then they become stagnant, and then they just become essentially boring.
Yeah,
but people still buy them. Look at all of the longest running series, the Maddens, the WWE 2Ks. They had to.
They took a year off though. They did
because they had to, John.
It got pretty bad. Now, if Call of Duty comes out and it's just busted, I hope they do that too. But yeah.
But these, like, Call of Duty has like 3 separate teams all making games, right? Like,
yep.
Like, whereas like Madden, NBA, this is the same damn team just making the same game so like Call of Duty's is significantly more logistically like massive in terms of their operation compared to these other yearly games.
Whereas year after year we get Madden photos where the arena they're playing in has the old Madden logo all over it.
Yeah, that's right. That did happen. Or like with
that
NBA
happened
on
2 different years in a row that I remember.
The old executable launched the new one, so it was in your taskbar. It was like NBA 2K21 when you're supposed to be playing 2K22 or something.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And also, if you look at go back and look at like older Madden games, like on the 360 towards the end of the life, then look at Madden like new and like, dude, the graphics are like better. Like older Madden, like the field, it looks better. Like the Ignite engine and what they used before has more realistic tackles and stuff like that. It's insane with some of these yearly games, man. It's like they stopped trying. Madden's so bad at this point. It's so bad. It's like terrible. I bought Madden for a decade before I stopped buying it.
I remember Madden 2010 was the last one I remember where I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good game.
Yeah, Madden's just terrible now, man. What were you saying, Josie? Sorry about that.
Hey?
Yeah, go, Josie, go. What were you saying?
What was I saying?
You're saying all kinds of stuff. You're about to jump in. You look pretty serious.
I sneezed.
Oh. Okay. My bad. I thought you were about to say something.
That's okay. I guess I don't think Madden is good at all. I agree with OJ. I used to play 2K every year, and I also feel that has gone downhill. But
Josie used to play 2K?
Yeah, all the time. I was huge.
You like American football?
I think she's talking about NBA. You're talking about NBA?
NBA. Basketball.
Basketball. Oh, okay. Yeah. NBA. There used to be NFL 2K as well. So
used to.
That was before time.
Okay. No.
The long
NBA 2K.
ago.
NBA 2K. Yeah. NBA 2K used to be it's still popular now. Yeah. When it was like, when was Kevin Garnett on the cover? Was that 11?
Oh, that was later. That was later.
10? 13? That dude. When we were working retail, that game was ridiculously popular. People came in droves to buy that thing on the 360.
NBA 2K5, man. That was the $20 one with Ben Wallace on the cover. That was so good.
Mm-hmm. The
Had
problem
good
is,
career mode and all that.
and what happened? Lack of competition.
Lack of competition. Yeah.
NBA Live got canceled when it was
NBA
on
Live, there was
Cartel.
NBA Shootout. Konami had NBA in the Zone. Microsoft had their own NBA property. There was so much competition driving these companies to make better games, and now there's not.
NBA Live had like one of the greatest dunk contests of all time. NBA Live 05 with Carmelo Anthony was on the cover. That dunk contest in there was so good.
Yep, 100%.
And we need these companies to get back at it.
I need to bring back NBA Jam.
Oh yeah, NBA Jam's great.
They
tried
tried to
point,
revive it,
remember?
I think, on the Wii.
Yeah, but it's
in
bad.
The Wii era. It was
Hold
okay.
up.
It was a 360. It was a 360 game as well.
It was 360, PS3, and Wii. I 100%ed it. Platinum or all the achievements. I also played the Wii version. It's not that bad. There's some things that are a bit awkward. I understand what Josie's saying, but it's actually, if you just play, it's kind of fun. Like it's if they tried again, but this time actually had a bit more of a budget and stuff, I think they could make something cool. NBA Street was great too, right? Like NBA Street Volume 2 was one of the greatest sports games of all time.
Any of the street games people talk about, like the NFL stuff and all that.
Oh yeah, FIFA's free too. Yeah,
everyone talks about that.
I just remember when that came out on the PS2, NBA Street, just the first one.
Oh yeah,
like EA Big, that was crazy. Because I think the thing that blew my mind is when you'd shoot the ball and it hit the net would actually move, and I was like, this is next gen. This is it right here.
that came out around the time of like everybody started getting into street ball and one, like the professor and stuff like that. So it just kind of the professor Escalade, that big old fat black guy that like backed people down and like dunked on you. It was like super cool. You know, I loved it. Skip to my Lou. So like it was just kind of like an extension of that. So it like blew up. Like NBA Street blew up so much. You don't see that nowadays. Nowadays everything's like, God, man, it sucks.
Yeah, it's got to bring back. Yeah, they got to bring back NBA Street, and then they got to do the EA Big logo again. Just do that. That would. I feel like that would get like a legit like pop out of some people if they saw that logo come back up.
Yeah,
those are the good days. Josie, you missed the fun days of gaming. Man, I feel bad. I'm actually sad for you right now.
I had Guitar Hero, and that was very fun.
Oh, that just made me sadder.
Yeah,
I realized where in time that is that you're saying.
That's the limit.
Yeah, I don't know if that
Hero
makes
and
it
Wii
like
Sports. That's all I needed.
V2 and NFL Street was lit. I mean, anybody could play that. It was so much fun. Like in those days, like where EA Big, like even like SSS Tricky. Remember that? Like even stuff like
I played that. I think on that PlayStation 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that?
No.
Yeah.
PS2.
Oh, okay. I played one of them. I think.
PS2, GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, unrelated for this, but what's his name actually returned to wrestling?
He turned to the WWE after. He's such a fucking. It's so funny. Him and The Rock are very similar in how they sort of move and operate, as far as talking about how legends, took advantage of this, that, or the other, and then you see them doing the exact same thing. It's like
I don't even watch wrestling like that. And even I'm like, oh wow, that's like trending all over Twitter. I'm like, oh,
yeah, he fucking.
I know it's a big deal.
He buried them for years and years and years, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm back. It's like, bro, stand on something at least. Like, fuck.
But you have to stand on a lot of money.
Stand on the paycheck.
A lot of money.
Exactly.
Who are you guys talking about?
CM Punk came back to WWE.
Okay, CM Punk's back.
Tweet has 44,000 likes in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Let me go over to some of the super chats here. Also check Streamlabs. Let's see. This is from Callan Shaw. Says, anybody played Assassin's Creed VR? Curious what you think about the implementation and big budget VR. Seems rare now. Wondering if you liked it. I have not tried it. I have not. I should on the. Oh, I should get the. Is that on the Quest 2 or is that only on the Quest 3? I have to look. I wouldn't mind trying it though, just because some of the stuff they showed looked interesting, but it was like that sense of, is this the actual game or are you showing me stuff that's like simulated for the game, for the ad? Sobo says, Sea of Stars doesn't deserve to be at the Game Awards at all. It has one of the worst stories I've ever played in an RPG. Mario RPG should be there.
I think Mario
RPG came out too late, I think.
Yeah.
It missed the cutoff. The Sea of Stars Burial though, man.
Yeah, that's okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Alpha says, does anyone know of some good sim or stealth games like Dishonored, Deus Ex, or MGS? Been looking for games that respect your intelligence the most.
You go.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say Republic is a pretty fun game.
There's an indie game, or it's like they called it the Origami series. That's really good too. Like 1 and 2. Those are kind of like stealth ninja games that I really enjoyed.
Plague Tale is heavily stealth.
Oh yeah. Dark Dream says, RGT, I did see you have been on side scrollers twice now. I have to say, I am definitely proud of you for doing that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, Craig's cool. I've known Craig for a while.
Go over to Streamlabs. We go around here. I'm gonna start with Josie. Josie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Josie Woe. I talked about a little bit Avatar Legends of Frontiers of Pandora last Spawncast, and I have a whole video about my little experience. It's really cool. So
cool. People should go check that out.
Yeah, you should check it out. But yeah,
definitely
thank you for having me on.
So you have your whole like adventure there on camera and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We go over to OJ. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I got a bunch of cool top videos for Switch games, RPGs, and more. And I'm currently working on my review for this stupid Naruto Cross Boruto game on Switch that nobody played.
Hell yeah.
So if you're interested in that, it's a very interesting release to say the least on Switch. So yeah, working on that. So if you enjoy RPG contents and countdowns, check out the channel, Player Essence. And thank you. I've been getting a bunch of people coming over from the Spawncast checking out the vid. So thank you, John, for having me on, and thank you to all the cast members for putting up with me.
Let me go over to the Streamlabs here. Ricky says OLED on next gen, so we talked about that last week. This is from PE Back, says, happy weekend, guys. Any of you played Hoyo's new game, Zenless Zone Zero? Any good?
I have not played it. I just got to Honkai Star Rail.
Okay, there you go.
And that's pretty good. I just hate I hate the live service, free to play stuff. I just wish they made normal games.
Good old Honky Star Rail. Interesting.
Yeah, but they want to make money, so.
David says, for this Black Friday, I bought the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, and I immediately started Snake Eater. Got hooked for 5 hours. My first time experiencing this game. I tried it out on the PS2, and it was a rough attempt. Glad it runs well. Love you guys. It's a great game.
$40 on Black Friday.
Liam says, do you think next-gen Nintendo, if backwards compatible, will require current-gen Joy-Cons or current-gen games? Do you think we'll be able to fully move forward to the next controller, which will hopefully be drift-free?
I think there'll be some sort of Joy-Con.
That is the question. I hope we don't have to use the same Joy-Cons now. I'd like to see what they can improve on and introduce for the next one, and we can leave these current Joy-Cons behind. I'd be happy with that. Sean, where can everyone find you?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast Guy. Got a mega video going up tomorrow. It's like 30 minutes long, even though RGT's is 51. It's bigger than mine. And we'll be on the after show, so come through.
Okay. And Evan?
You can find me on YouTube and other locations at Camerex Project. Tabletop stuff, painting, fun things. Sometimes we stream on YouTube Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at the worst time of day. So thanks to everyone that usually swings out there.
Awesome. Okay. That's going to do it here for the Spawncast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back here next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you guys then.